thing, let's talk about Zuffa. So Dana White's Zuffa is now with Paramount, all right, just like UFC is. And boxing is going to be free. It's going to be on Paramount and all those things. For me, that's music to my ears. But understand that I've been wanting a boxing league far before this, okay? And here's what Dana White said about it. I'm going to give a take, and we're going to talk about the Muhammad Ali Act, all right? But here's a take.
My big focus is on building a fan base that completely trusts a brand like the UFC. Like when you stay home on a Saturday night, you know what you're going to get. If you buy tickets and come to the UFC live, you know you're going to get a great experience live or on TV, or if you go to a bar. And that's what I want to bring back to boxing. So many times, me, you, the people watching this right now, you've stayed home on a Saturday night, you're excited for this fight, and then you turn the TV off at the end of the night, and you're like, they got me again. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Or even worse, you flew there, and you watched the fight live, and it was a complete shit show of a live event and a bad experience that left a bad taste in your mouth. That is the number one thing that is the most important to me, is starting to regain the trust of the boxing fans.
We're going to get it.
Okay. Sounds good, right? You want to build a product in the sport of boxing where people know every weekend is going to be good. In the NFL, every weekend, I'm plugged in, pause, to see Tyreek dislocate his knee and just almost make me puke all of my chicken fingers that I was eating. All right, here Tyson Bell. But with that said, I digress. That sounds good. Do you guys trust it already? Of course not. You haven't seen it yet. You know, he's just saying what he wants to do. And yeah, if you want to build a brand that everybody can trust, and it's because it's a good product. Who wouldn't? You want everybody to say that. All right, that's what you would want. All right, now it's just about making it happen. I think it's going to take some time, right? Because just to start out, you're not going to have all the best fighters in the world. That makes zero sense. But I think if you put on great fights, and then we understand the way it's organized, tournament style, stuff like that, how does the belt works, what makes you number one ranked, what makes, just are the rules different on what wins a round, right? Like bare knuckle fighting championship. I'm going to be calling that this weekend on DAZN War Room. And that, I still don't understand what wins rounds all the way, because I keep judging things like a boxer, and bare knuckle is different, right? So the same thing will go for Zuffa. What wins a round, stuff like that, understanding it. And not that it would be better than traditional boxing or the way boxing has been done over all these years, but I see it as another option. So you just like, if you like boxing the way I do, you like people getting stolen on the way I do, give me some more opportunities to watch somebody get stolen on. That's all it is for me. It's like, bare knuckle fighting championship. It's like Misfits for me. It's like Tank versus Jake. It's like, if somebody's getting kickboxing, if somebody gets UFC, if somebody getting stolen on, I'm not mad at it. I don't be looking at it like, oh man, you getting stolen on Zuffa. I'm not that stupid. If you get, I don't give a damn if you're in the middle of the street somewhere. If you getting stolen on, I want to watch it. Just always been me. Now, if it end up being a good sport and organized in a way that's like, yo, y'all killing that shit, then I become a fan of it, right? Now, what everybody is worried about is the Muhammad Ali Act, okay? I want you guys to listen to how he explains what he's talking about doing or approaching the Muhammad Ali Act, all right, with Brian Campbell. You guys say what you think, for sure, because this is a sensitive subject, because this is our beloved sport of boxing. Muhammad Ali is our most beloved athlete in boxing, right? Generally speaking. And the Muhammad Ali Act is a fighter-protected law. So I want you guys to check this out, and then we can kind of deep dive a little bit on what it seems he means.
Dana, boxing seems to be split over the proposed amendments to the Muhammad Ali Reform Act that it's expected to be presented in front of Congress later this year. It already has bipartisan support. We've seen a lot of people split on this. How important are these changes to be made to the idea of you having success launching this league in 2026?
Well, let's be clear. There will be zero changes to the Muhammad Ali Act. Not one word will be changed in the Muhammad Ali Act. We're going to add on to it. So the guys who, guys being fighters that want to fight under the Muhammad Ali Act, exactly the way it is, will have that opportunity to do that. And then, or you can bet on me and fight with me under our version of the Muhammad Ali Act. So that thing's been blown a lot out of proportion, and I get it. And I knew people were going to freak out because that's what people do.
The first thing I want you guys to know is that Dana White's, trust you, Biz, love you, boy, is that Dana White's Zuffa will not replace boxing. I want you to understand that boxing, the sport of boxing, is the sport of boxing. Zuffa is boxing that way, okay? Is a boxing league. That's why people always say UFC is not all of MMA. It's the sport of MMA, and then you have UFC. That is an organization with MMA, just like Bellator. So I want you guys to understand that. Now, when it comes to the Muhammad Ali Act, the Muhammad Ali Act, he said he wants to amend it. He wants to add to it. Because the Muhammad Ali Act, and I said it before, but I want this to sink in. The Muhammad Ali Act was to protect, or is to protect, fighters in boxing on how boxing has always been organized. Zuffa is the first boxing league. It's a totally different idea. So you got to do something about that. You can't have the same laws for a boxing league, because a boxing league isn't a bunch of different promoters in a wild, wild west with their own things trying to go up against each other, and people leave it one fight deal to that's a wild situation. Okay. Now, this idea of a boxing league is not an original one. We've been waiting for a boxing league for a long time. I know I have. And like I said before, the one entity that was set up in a way to provide a boxing league was the PBC. The PBC had this in mind from the very beginning, but they got hit with a lawsuit based on the Muhammad Ali Act. You have Dana White observing this. Okay. The Muhammad Ali Act stopped the PBC from the manager promoter thing. So what did the PBC do? They reorganized it into an association like the NBA. That's why they gave everybody their own promotions. You had Errol Spence with his own promotion. You have Canelo Alvarez you had everybody with their own, Pacquiao own promotion. Everybody had their own promotion. Javante, everybody got their own promotion company, right? So now, because it's an association with different promoters within it, they had the mindset. They were even talking about a PBC belt, and they were trying to be on Showtime, be on NBC. Al Heyman had a very brilliant approach and tried to make it into a boxing league. The problem is that takes a ton of money and support. Immediately when he started, everybody was against him. But His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has the resources to have everybody work together. They saw PBC go over the hill first. And it's like that. You have to learn. Those were the mistakes. And the thing with the Muhammad Ali Act, you cannot do a boxing league with that act. So what Dana White is saying is add to it to include a boxing league. And if you don't want to join my boxing league, you're still protected by you definitely protected by the Muhammad Ali Act. We're just saying add a boxing league. Now, you guys can still do what y'all do with Top Rank, with Matchroom, and have the WBC titles, the WBA, whatever. But the boxing league cannot function with the Muhammad Ali Act as is. That's it. Now, Matt's concern is underpaying. One, it doesn't matter to you. Why? You're not getting any money. You don't get a piece of their check. That's what happens when we're concerned about their dollar. Number two, whoever the athlete is who joins Zuffa has thought about what they need, and they think it's a better choice to join Zuffa. That's on them. The way boxing is organized now, okay, you can't tell people, Matt, you're not a fighter. You can't tell somebody up and coming, hey, don't join Zuffa. They're going to look at what they have, what Zuffa has to offer, what the boxing world right now has to offer, and they're going to make a decision. Maybe sign a couple fight deal with that boxing organization. If it's not working out, then they leave just like people who leave the UFC and then start doing their thing. But the way boxing is now, if you're not one of the very most paid fighters at the top, you ain't getting shit. Look at Terrence Crawford. He has been the best fighter in the world forever, but he didn't have best fighter money. Ryan Garcia shitting him when it comes to the money. How is that? Look at how much Canelo got paid and how much Crawford got paid. Now, that's just how boxing is set up now. With Zuffa, it's going to be set up a little bit differently. It's not going to be such a big gap between the number 1 guy and the number 2 guy, especially not the number 10 guy. You're going to get a minimum wage, at least this. And they're going to have their ways of paying. It's up to the athlete, not Matt, not you, not you, not you. If the athlete say Zuffa works for me, shut your ass up and watch the fight. Because you got a lot of people right now who are electricians fighting Shakur Stevenson. Black eye, got to go back to work. If they get busted up too much in a ring, they ain't going to be able to take care of themselves because they can't go back to work. The way boxing is set up right now, while there's a huge distrust for Dana White, and I understand, you're not thinking about how it's set up right now. You don't give a shit. How it's set up right now, bro, is a fighter got to think about going to work. And I make a joke about it all the time. I got to work Monday. And y'all laughing, but it's true. I can't be taking punches like this. I got to get my ass whipped enough to where you want to hire me again, but not too much to where I can't punch in on Monday. And that's the black two sugars. Y'all only be afraid of change and something new. Y'all don't look at the conditions in which the world of boxing is now. So let's sit back and say, okay, that's what you're trying. Just understand, if you're for it or not, just understand what's going on. Understand why. Okay, that's why he's trying to make an amendment to the Muhammad Ali Act.